April 3rd, the first successful Pony Express run. On April 3rd, 1860, marked the commencement of an ambitious venture that would come to symbolize the pioneering spirit of the American West. The first successful Pony Express run from St. Joseph, Missouri to Sacramento, California. Operative for a brief 18 months, from April 1860 to October 1861, the Pony Express left an indelible mark on the landscape of American history. Conceived by the entrepreneurial trio of William H. Russell, Alexander Majors, and William B. Waddell, the Pony Express aimed to capitalize on the opportunity to revolutionize mail delivery across the expansive American West. The arduous route spanned over 1,900 miles, taking approximately 10 days to complete. Riders, the lifeblood of the operation, changed horses every 10 to 15 miles, carrying lightweight and easily portable mail pouches. Undoubtedly, the Pony Express posed substantial risks to its riders. Physical endurance, adept handling of challenging terrains, and resilience against unpredictable weather conditions were prerequisites for those who undertook this perilous task. Speed and precision were imperative, as any errors on the part of the riders could result in delays or losses of mail. Despite the inherent dangers, the Pony Express emerged triumphant, bridging a vital link between the east and west coasts of the United States. Its role in facilitating communication and commerce contributed significantly to the opening up of the American West for settlement. The demise of the Pony Express in 1861 coincided with the completion of the transcontinental telegraph. This technological marvel, providing a faster and more efficient means of communication, rendered the Pony Express obsolete. However, its legacy endures as a poignant symbol of the American West and the relentless spirit of exploration and progress that characterized this transformative period in history. The Assassination of Jesse James by Robert Ford. On April 3, 1882, Robert Ford, a member of Jesse James's gang, shot and killed James in the living room of his home in St. Joseph, Missouri. The assassination was a shocking event that sent shockwaves through the American Old West. James was a notorious outlaw who had led a gang of bandits that robbed banks, trains, and stagecoaches throughout the Midwest. He was also a folk hero to many, who saw him as a Robin Hood-like figure who robbed from the rich and gave to the poor. Ford was a young man who had joined James's gang in 1881. He was initially a loyal member of the gang, but he eventually became disillusioned with James's leadership. Ford believed that James was becoming increasingly reckless and that he was putting the gang at risk. Ford also believed that he could collect the $10,000 reward that had been offered for James's capture. He hatched a plan to assassinate James and collect the reward. On April 3, 1882, Ford went to James's home in St. Joseph, Missouri. He pretended to be interested in joining James's gang and asked if he could see James's gun collection. James showed Ford his guns, and Ford shot him in the back of the head. James's death was a major blow to the outlaw community. His gang quickly disbanded, and his legend grew in the years that followed. Gottlieb Daimler's revolutionary engine and the birth of the motorcycle. On April 3, 1885, German engineer Gottlieb Daimler received a patent for a groundbreaking invention, a lightweight, high-speed, four-stroke internal combustion engine. This innovative engine, which Daimler designed in collaboration with his partner Wilhelm Maybach, would revolutionize personal transportation and set the stage for the development of the modern motorcycle. Prior to Daimler's invention, most internal combustion engines were bulky and heavy, making them impractical for use in transportation. Daimler's engine, in contrast, was compact and lightweight, weighing only about 40 kilograms, 88 pounds. This made it possible to power smaller vehicles, such as motorcycles and automobiles. In November 1885, just 7 months after receiving his patent, Daimler applied his groundbreaking engine to the creation of the world's first motorcycle, the Daimler Reitwagen. The Reitwagen, which translates to riding car in German, was a simple yet revolutionary vehicle. It featured a single-cylinder engine mounted above the rear wheel, driving a chain that powered the front wheel. The Reitwagen was a crude machine by today's standards, but it marked a significant milestone in the history of transportation. It demonstrated the potential for internal combustion engines for personal mobility and paved the way for the development of more advanced motorcycles and automobiles. The Whitechapel Murders, a night of terror in London. On the night of April 3, 1888, the impoverished Whitechapel district in the East End of London was plunged into a state of terror. The body of Mary Ann Nichols, a 43-year-old prostitute, was discovered in a backyard in Bucks Row. She had been brutally murdered, her throat cut, and her body mutilated. This was the first of 5 murders that would terrorize Whitechapel over the next 9 weeks. The victims, mall prostitutes, were found in various locations in the district, their bodies bearing hallmarks of the brutal and sadistic killer. The press dubbed the perpetrator Jack the Ripper, in reference to a taunting letter that was sent to the police shortly after the first murder. The Whitechapel murders sent shockwaves through London. The police were baffled by the brutality of the crimes and the lack of any clear clues. The public was gripped by fear and the streets of Whitechapel were deserted at night. The murders continued, and on September 30th, 1888, the body of Mary Jane Kelly was discovered in her room in Miller's Court. Her murder was the most gruesome of all, and the mutilations were so severe that her face was barely recognizable. The public outcry was immense, and the police were under intense pressure to catch the killer. However, despite a massive manhunt, Jack the Ripper was never caught. The murders ceased in 1888, and the identity of the killer remains one of the most enduring mysteries in criminal history. The Trial of Oscar Wilde. On April 3, 1895, the trial of the libel case brought by Oscar Wilde against the Marquess of Queensberry began. The case was a turning point in Wilde's life, leading to his imprisonment on charges of homosexuality. The Marquess of Queensberry was the father of Lord Alfred Douglas, Wilde's lover. Queensberry had become increasingly hostile towards Wilde, and he had sent a card to Wilde's club that read, "For Oscar Wilde, posing sodomite." Wilde sued Queensberry for libel, alleging that the card was defamatory. The trial was a sensation, and it attracted widespread attention from the press. Wilde's lawyers argued that Queensberry's card was a malicious attack on Wilde's character, and that it was meant to ruin his reputation. Queensberry's lawyers argued that the card was simply a statement of fact and that Wilde was indeed a homosexual. The trial lasted for several weeks, and it became increasingly acrimonious. Wilde took the stand in his own defense, and he admitted to having homosexual relationships. This admission led to his downfall, as it provided Queensberry with the evidence he needed to prove his case. The jury found in favor of Queensberry, and Wilde was ordered to pay Queensberry $1,000 in damages. Wilde was also ordered to pay Queensberry's legal fees, which amounted to $2,500. Wilde was unable to pay the damages, and he was forced to sell his house and other assets. He was also arrested on charges of gross indecency, and he was eventually convicted and sentenced to 2 years of hard labor. Wilde's imprisonment was a devastating blow to his career and reputation. He was released from prison in 1897, but he was never able to regain his former prominence. He died in poverty in 1900 at the age of 46.